Welcome to Cinema Savants. He's Todd Vandenberg, I'm Rob Steele, and if you're wondering where Lee Vowell is, he's off impersonating Liam Neeson in The Grey, or something like that. I hear he has snow, but no electricity. Therefore, he's not here. I get that. That makes sense. Kind of like the story that we're going to start off with, because I thought this at first, and it does make sense. One of the big movies we've got going on in the States right now is the questionably titled Crazy Rich Asians, which for some reason just isn't doing well in China, because they say it sounds racist. Who knew? They were expecting it to make millions of dollars in China, and it made million singular of dollars in. I mean, they're offended by it. Well, I'm not surprised. Look at the title. Imagine someone in China making a movie and then sending it over here and wondering why the movie Psychotic Overpriced Honkies is not making a lot of money. I mean, think about this for just a minute. Does that make sense to you? It makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
See?
I see.
Not a hard concept, you twits. Anyway, a leftover from last week. No, not overpriced honkies. I'm going to say that throughout the rest of the show. I really am. You wanted to mention a new streaming service to take the place of some of the streaming services that are no longer with us.
I did want to mention a new streaming service last week, but I don't feel like it this week.
Okay, well, moving on then.
Yeah, this week it's another new streaming service, but it's free, which makes things very nice.
Ta-da!
Because, we all know there are more streaming services coming, which are going to eat away at our meager pay. But this one's free. It is called Hoopla. Hoopla, Hoopla.com. The reason it's free is because there is a qualifier. You do have to procure one other service before you get Hoopla. Good news is that service is free, and it's good for you because it's your local library. Now, not all library systems are tied into Hoopla. Some are tied into Canopy.com, which we've talked about before. That's Canopy with a K. Odds are, if your library service is not tied in with Canopy, it is tied in with Hoopla. And if I were you, I would be tricky and just check the listings, make sure that your library service is tied in with one or the other, then drive to the nearest county or town that has a different library system, and hopefully it's close by, and then you can get on the other service for free too. Hoopla allows you to borrow, I believe, 12 items at a time. One good thing about Hoopla is not just a video service, although the video streaming service works really well. It's also audiobooks, lovely, and ebooks, lovely. All free because, again, it's all like the library. Canopy is pretty similar to what Filmstruck was like. A lot of art films, a fair amount of the Criterion Collection films. Hoopla is actually closer to something like Hulu or Netflix. Really has more recent stuff. For instance, Gotti, which was not even available for free streaming anywhere, Hoopla had it for free. Now, Gotti, by the way, is on Amazon Prime, but they do seem to get fairly recent films for free before they're available for free on the other big streaming services. So I definitely recommend Hoopla.com. And again, just plug in your library card. It's free. It's excellent. Matter of fact, one of the movies I'm going to review this Friday, I saw on Hoopla. So Hoopla.com, another excellent source of free entertainment for you.
That sounds really cool.
It is. It is nice that it's very different from Canopy because, again, Canopy is much more like art house independent stuff, and Hoopla has a lot of that, but Hoopla seems to be focused more on more recent things. And again, tons of audiobooks, ebooks. I mean, it's a really great source.
Saw something else that I think you would like because it's going to be a really great source once it makes its way to the States in this concept. Japan is about to launch its first 8K television station.
That is insane, isn't it?
It is. It's not 1080p. It's not 4K. It's 8K. The channel's even called BS 8K, which I'm like, well, wait a minute. BS what? Pardon? But no, if you don't know what that means, it is 16 times the definition of your HD TV. Meaning, oh my God, that's a clear picture. Your brain actually can't process how clear this picture is.
Yeah, I was going to say it seems like it would look more real than what's around the TV.
Hey, well, have you ever I remember when 4K TVs came out, and I went and I stared at this display at I forgot what store it was at, but staring at it, going, "This is beautiful." And I turned around and looked at reality, and it didn't look as clear. And I was afraid I had had a stroke or something. I'm afraid to look at an 8K TV at this point. But Samsung and LG have announced that they're making 8K capable television sets, but they're also going to be, and I love the way this is phrased, prohibitively expensive for widespread adoption.
For now.
For now. Give it a couple years and you'll find them, $300 at Walmart.
Exactly. Which is insane. But
not necessarily in time for what BS8K is planning on doing in 2020, which is broadcasting the Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games in 8K, which, wow.
There's going to be a lot of bars buying 8K TVs, though.
That's true. And if you're wondering how big an 8K TV, you're not going to be able to get a 25-inch 8K TV. These things, I think they start at 70-inch.
Which would make sense, because why go small? You got something expensive to begin with. That's pretty amazing.
Something else that's pretty amazing and goes back to what you were saying about streaming services. Hulu and Netflix had some announcements this week that I kind of liked. Hulu announced a deal with Funimation. So they announced a multi-year partnership to produce anime titles coming straight to Hulu.
A lot to like there. Funimation has put out some great stuff.
They've translated it.
Right.
They're not the ones who actually create it. They take the series from Japan and go, let's add English or something like that. But series like Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, which is a very strange title, and Tokyo Ghoul, I'm pretty sure the Dragon Ball series are going to be included in this.
Very nice.
Which is not including the Dragon Ball Super, which is, I'm not entirely sure that's completely done translated yet. I know it ended in Japan about a year ago. But then Netflix also announced, and part of me is looking forward to this, and part of me is worried about this.
/ terrified.
Because when they announced that they were making a live-action movie of Ghost in the Shell, I said, that'll be good, until I saw the trailer and went, that's not Ghost in the Shell. Netflix has announced a new Ghost in the Shell anime series that's going to come out in 2020. And it's actually going to be Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, which is what the TV series was called, except this time it's Standalone Complex 2045. And if you know the original series, that's 15 years after the original Standalone Complex. So Togas's kids are grown. I don't know how exactly this is going to work. Aramaki looked old then. I'm afraid to see what he would look like now. It could be a good thing. It could be horrific. I don't know what it's going to look like. The only picture they showed with it was a picture of... it's not the Major. Her name is Major Motoko Kusanagi. Get that right. But the picture is... It's the new style of anime, I suppose, where it's hand-drawn but in a computer. And if you've seen the new Appleseed series, which is actually done by the same... created by the same guy, that's what it looks like. And I'm not sure I like it. I don't know if that... Does that mean anything? No. We'll wait till a trailer comes out. Just thought I'd bring it up.
I mean, that does mean something. I mean, it's animation styles can be so different, and sometimes it's perfect, and sometimes it can be kind of jarring, and sometimes it just takes time to get used to it. But yeah, like I said, we'll see. Anyway,
Marvel had a lot of news come out this week. Not all of it was good.
True.
I'm going to start with the one that is questionable.
Yes.
Because this is a character that I remember. I even had a couple of the books because I thought the character of Shang-Chi, the master of Kung Fu, I thought he was a cool character. And now they're making a movie out of him. I'm guessing it's going to be part of the MCU. Perhaps this is how we could get Iron Fist brought back in, because I thought the two characters kind of went together. But my big question for you, Todd, who would you cast as Shang-Chi today?
I would cast an unknown who has excellent martial arts skills and can act. I was thinking about that, and you can get some Asian actors, but I don't know.
Don't make him white.
Yeah, that's the first rule. And they've already made it clear they're looking for an Asian actor. And interestingly enough, to me, I don't think it's necessary, but I think it's very smart, an Asian director.
Not a bad
Again,
idea.
an excellent idea. As far as directors, I mean, yeah, John Woo would be kind of cool. Then there are plenty of Asian directors. I don't know if they want to go back to Ang Lee because I really like his version of Hulk. Most people don't. But there are certain...
I'm one of them, sorry.
Yeah, certainly tons of Asian directors that would be available and who could do a good job on it. As far as the actor, I don't really have anyone that comes to mind.
See,
there's too many...
For me, if it was 15 or 20 years ago, Robin Shou would have been perfect, or Philip Rhee.
Yep.
Both of whom I think are a bit old now.
Exactly, 15 or 20 years ago. Yeah, that would be perfect. But we'll see how they go. But I like the fact that they made it clear that they're going to do this, or let's say they're going to at least attempt to do this right. And my initial thought was, again, here we're going with a really not that well-known character, and it's kind of like, why would you be doing this? What reminded me of DC doing a Blue Beetle movie. It's like, that's kind of really, but
Marvel's done it successfully.
Marvel has done it successfully. Just take a look at Guardians of the Galaxy, and the fact that Black Panther spoke to an untapped audience, obviously because it only did $1 billion worldwide, and it's an important cultural film, and they obviously see this as like, you know what, we can do this for another group, and it's not just, this is only for Asians, because obviously Black Panther is not only for African Americans or Africans, but it speaks to that particular culture. Shang-Chi can do the same thing. So this is really exciting to me because I have a feeling, looking at their track record, that this at least should be a really good movie, could be a great movie, and I'm siding with the fact that I think it's probably going to be a great movie. As long as they get the pieces right, and it's really rare where they don't.
I'm going to throw a name out. I don't know if this would work or not, or if she's even interested, and it wouldn't surprise me if she wasn't. Would you like to see Michelle Yeoh direct this?
Yes. I don't know off the top of my head how much experience she has directing. I would love to see her involved.
Yeah.
And it just come to me that I would like to see direct it, especially because Marvel does like their humor. I would love to see Stephen Chow direct this.
Yeah, that would work.
He's one of my favorite directors because he definitely knows how to do action sequences, and he definitely knows humor. And again, that's just one possibility. But I really like the thought about Michelle Yeoh. Again, I don't know if she has any.
She's doing I think she's got a Star Trek spinoff coming.
That she's directing?
She's starring in. It's the spinoff of her character.
Right. I mean, that's my only question about her is she's certainly been in the business long enough. She probably knows quite a bit about it. It's just a matter of like, okay, what can she actually do? Because obviously you don't want a first-time director handling this, but I have no idea. She may have done several shows. She may have done some movies because she's been in the business for quite a while. But yeah, I would love to have her involved in some capacity with it. Definitely.
Other
exciting news.
Yeah. Other news came out from Marvel this week. Travis Knight was kind of, I guess the front runner for directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And he came out this week and said, no, not doing it. Not that he didn't want to, but he's got a lot of other stuff on his plate. I get that. So, Guardians of the Galaxy pushed back even more. Darn. Because I think it could be good, but we're going to have to see where the cast thing goes after the whole James Gunn debacle. Although we do have some really good James Gunn news coming up.
We do. And I think it's, as far as the casting, for those members of the cast who are supporting James Gunn, more time is just going to make it more likely where they may decide, okay, I'll be in it, because James Gunn will have had more time to go on to more success. So we'll see how it plays out.
Let's see. The Netflix thing, canceling Daredevil last week, Marvel announced that when Disney Plus launches, one of the new series that they confirmed this week is a Vision and Scarlet Witch series, which makes a lot more sense than the Loki and Scarlet Witch series.
Yes.
That was announced originally. Vision and Scarlet Witch, they go together anyway, which kind of means that in Avengers 4, oh, wait a minute, didn't they both get turned to dust?
But, they could always be doing this as a prequel while they were on the run. So it doesn't necessarily mean they'll. I mean, we know they'll come back.
They're coming back.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not like they have to. So I don't really see it as like some spoiler. But, pretty much everyone figures they'll be back anyway. But I'm really glad to hear they're doing a Vision Scarlet Witch thing instead of just Scarlet Witch, because that dynamic is much more interesting. I mean, it's always interesting when you have two characters, usually,
I thought so.
Instead of one. And especially with that particular relationship, because that turned out to have huge ramifications for the whole Marvel universe in the comics. So, like, reset everything. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'd be curious to see if they eventually address that. Hopefully they would, because that would be very, very cool. But yeah, that's great news.
But that came out just before the Avengers 4 trailer, which is apparently called Endgame. So, yay, we've got a trailer. Boo, it's really depressing. Because, well, that's the big complaint about it. Oh, it's a depressing trailer. Did you see the end of the last movie? Everybody, half of the cast died.
Exactly. Wasn't going to be a happy. They're not going to show you the end of this film, and who knows if the end of this film was going to be happy. Yeah, this is not going to be. They're not going to show all the happy parts because they're recovering from, like you just said, the end of half of the sentient beings in the universe. So that's not a good place to start. The trailer I thought was terrific. I also like the fact that it points out that the Russos did lie, because they said that, no, they have not said the title in any of the Marvel films, and clearly Doctor Strange said that. So don't believe everything they say.
No.
And you never should have anyway. But personally, I thought the trailer was excellent and amazing and wonderful. And I really like the fact that they, even in this story, they, of course, injected some of their trademark humor in the trailer. I thought that was great.
With the Scott Lang showing up at the end. I'm Ant-Man. You remember me?
You remember me? It's just, oh, God, it's just so good. And they do such a good job of that throughout all of their films, regardless of the director, where they manage to, things get really tense and it's like, oh, let's put in a really funny joke here, so you just don't start breaking into uncontrollable
cold sweats.
and the perfect character to do it. And
he is, I think.
Yeah, oh my God, he's so funny, and the character's written so well, but I mean, he pulls it off so well. And just their reaction, I mean, Cap is sitting there saying, is this old? Is this re-recorded? Because he can't believe he's
old footage. Why are we watching this?
So it just looks terrific.
I don't want to watch reruns of Scott Lang. Murder, She Wrote has got to be on somewhere. Anyway, I don't know why that popped into my head.
And what did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was really good. I thought that it showed exactly what it needed to show. We can't show the action scenes. We're not even entirely sure who the bad guy is in this movie.
Exactly.
Because Thanos looks if you looked at the gauntlet at the end of the movie, it looks a bit broke. Mm-hmm. We're not even sure if he still has the Chaos Gems. I've been playing Sonic the Hedgehog, sorry. The Infinity Stones. And he looks like he retired if you looked at the scarecrow of his armor.
Right.
In the trailer, which is what happened in the books at the end of the Infinity Wars. Thanos kind of went, yeah, I'm going to go be a farmer. And you kind of go, what? Really?
Yeah, just a farmer.
I'm just glad Thanos didn't talk like this through the movie, because that would have been a little bit too much for me. I'm going to be a farmer after I've destroyed half the universe, because that's going to be that's my destiny.
I would love it if James Brolin broke that out, because he totally could do it. Yeah, I love the fact that it goes right to the farming thing. That pulled straight from the comics. I love the appearance of Hawkeye, who maybe he's Ronin now.
He could be.
And just the look on his face tells you probably something bad has happened personally to him, and you can pretty much guess what that would be. So now you have a pissed off, motivated Clint Barton, which is excellent. It just looks great. It just looks great. So we'll see what happens as we see the next 3 or 4 trailers. So we wind up watching half the movie before it comes out in April, which moved up to April, which is another nice thing. It's amazing, though, how, again, this is a cottage industry. I mean, there are, I'm sure, literally thousands of videos out there already breaking down the Easter eggs and what you may have missed and everything else.
They're already there.
Yeah, which is incredible.
It's ridiculous.
Talk about pent-up demand. If the movie is only good, it's going to make $2 billion. I mean, if it's awful and word of mouth gets out, it'll still make $1 billion worldwide. It's just crazy.
Something else that's going to be making that much money, the next Spider-Man movie, for which the trailer was supposed to have come out Saturday because they showed it at a convention, and it didn't. No real excuse, though.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Because my initial thought was when the trailer was delayed, is like, okay, they were concerned it was going to reveal something they really didn't want to,
But then they showed it at the convention.
Exactly, and they showed it at the convention. It's like, that's really kind of strange that they decided to hold it.
I mean, and they don't use film to show this stuff anymore. It's on a DVD, if not a thumb drive.
Right.
Can I show you how to upload to YouTube?
Which is surprising that it hasn't happened yet, but I haven't checked for it this morning. So somewhere out there's grainy footage of the trailer probably that's been captured by
They said it could be up by Monday morning, but definitely by Thursday.
Very, very weird. But apparently the trailer was extremely well received.
It was well received, although one thing had a big question in it, which was Aunt May's relationship. Did you see this? Aunt May is apparently dating Happy.
Yeah.
Jean Favreau's character from Iron Man. He's more than a show. He's Alfred, in Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a weird place to put him. But after all of this Marvel news came out after Monday, which was weird because on Monday we've got the full Captain Marvel trailer, and most people have forgotten about it by now. And that movie's coming out before the other ones.
Yep.
We did get a couple of interesting things, and I want to get your response before I point out something in the trailer that I think could be very interesting. What did you think of the Captain Marvel trailer?
Oh, the second one, I loved it. I mean, I liked the first one, with the end of the first one where her eyes just light up, and it's like, okay, that's just somehow that just conveys like immense power. I guess typically because you don't see people's eyes light up like that. The second one I enjoyed even more because it gives you more plot of what's going to happen in this. So I don't know if I'm looking forward to it even more after the second trailer because I'm already looking forward to this movie. But yeah, mission accomplished. They did a great job with the second trailer, I thought.
I mean, I thought it looked good, but it did raise a minor question in my mind. Because a lot of people suspected that Jude Law was going to be playing Captain Marvel,
right?
The Kree warrior, who kind of started the whole Marvel thing, Captain Marvel thing on Earth, which eventually was transferred to Carol Danvers. He's not. They're rewriting some things. Jude Law is playing a character named Yon-Rogg, who is kind of the anti-Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel was not a character in Marvel Comics I ever really got into. I bought the Death of graphic novel because that was a big thing, and that's about it. So I had to look up Yon-Rogg, and it turns out that this character, I'm not going to say hired because that's not the right word, teamed up with to beat both Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. And if you don't know Miss Marvel, she is Carol Danvers who became Captain Marvel. It's all confusing, and don't say Shazam at any point in this movie.
Yeah.
Somebody Yon-Rogg teamed up with who was very prominent in the Yon-Rogg storylines was Prince Namor.
Which is pretty interesting.
I'm wondering if this is going to be a way to get Prince Namor, the Submariner, who is also very big in, what was the name of those books? Oh yeah, the Fantastic Four. I'm wondering if this is going to be, I mean, there's going to have to be like 7 or 8 different back doors that you introduce the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into the MCU. I'm wondering if this is going to be the first of the most obvious ones.
God, I hope so, because I always like Namor, because Namor is really interesting. To me, has always been one of the most interesting characters in Marvel, because he's not a hero.
Except for his ankles.
His ankles are kind of weird. But it's just because he does what he wants to do. And he's always been that character. I mean, he can be a villain in some arcs. He can be a hero in some arcs. He can be both. And he's like the classic anti-hero and always has been. Supposedly, Marvel maybe kind of has the film rights back although it's really difficult to say because apparently it's really complicated, even though you'll see articles saying, oh, Marvel has the rights. And then there are articles after that, where Kevin Feige says, oh, it's complicated.
We do, we don't, we might. We're thinking about having the rights.
Yeah, Universal may still have the rights, which again, it's hard to imagine that Marvel Comics at one point was near the point of bankruptcy. Or actually, didn't they file bankruptcy?
I think they filed bankruptcy twice in the 90s. I know at least once.
Which is incredible to think of. But I mean, that's why Sony wound up with the rights to
Spider-Man.
And Fantastic Four and X-Men went to Fox and on and on and on. So I would love this to happen. Although I have to say, when I first saw the name of the character that Jude Law is playing, I immediately went to Yog-Sothoth and thought, boy, that would be really cool. But not the case, sadly.
I misread it as eggnog and went, what? No.
Co-starring Howard the Duck. That's what that sounds like.
There you go. But yeah, so Captain Marvel looks like it's going to be a good movie as opposed to the Shazam movie, which I still think just looks like it's going to end up, to me, in my head, it's going to be Will Ferrell-ish.
You know, and when I first saw the clip, I thought, oh my God, they get it. It's going to be lighthearted and adventurous and stuff. But as I see more clips, I have the same concerns as you because it seems like they're just showing so much of the silly stuff. It's like, come on now, don't get overboard and don't turn into something that's just. Don't go so far to the other way that you've just made this ridiculous. And I'm afraid they're in danger of having done that. So we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're just showing these clips to remind people, oh, look, you can actually see the characters and they're having fun.
What a concept.
Yeah, hopefully that's all they're doing. But, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, did have some DC news this week. For example, Stargirl, which is a series that I thought was kind of odd that they would go to Stargirl for a series bypassing how many other millions of characters they've got. But I forgot that Stargirl was an original member of the Justice Society of America, which predates the Justice League. Mm-hmm. And they announced the Justice Society is going to be a big part of this series, which in my head means we're finally going to get Dr. Fate on TV. I like Dr. Fate. I want that.
I can totally see them going with Stargirl because think of the network this is going on.
Yeah.
That's exactly why they're going with Stargirl.
It'll work.
And if they do it right, yeah, it'll work. And never been a big fan of the character, but not like, oh, I don't care about the character. It's an interesting character. I'm curious if they'll have stripes. Probably not. Or stripey, depending which version they go with. I wonder if there'll be any allusion to Starman. Probably.
Could be. I don't know.
But the fact that, like you said, part of Justice Society, oh my God, we're finally going to get Dr. Fate. That would be excellent. Wildcat would be interesting.
If we get Dr. Fate, does that mean we can tie it back to Constantine? Because Fate's helmet was in the pilot episode of Constantine.
Yeah, hopefully. It'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. Because Dr. Fate is always one of my favorite characters. It could have a tie-in, but I don't think they would go that route. And it needs to be on DC Universe. It does not need to be on CW because there's no way to do it correctly. I would really love to see a Spectre series.
Ooh, yes.
That cannot be in the CW, not if it's going to be the Spectre.
No, the animated short was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not going to air that on TV, though.
No. But on DC Universe, when Dick Grayson is cussing out Batman, yeah, you can get it on DC Universe, and I'd love to see that. So going back to Stargirl, yeah, that's good news. I'm not super excited, but for the fact that it could bring in the Justice Society, awesome.
And see, conversely, that's good news, but conversely, the first photos from the Swamp Thing series came out. Did you see these, by the way?
I have not seen these, and I'm happy I haven't seen them.
You're not going to miss anything. They made a big deal out of it. Here's the first 4 pictures coming from the set of Swamp Thing. And it's 4 separate pictures of 2 people in a boat in a swamp.
I was going to say, it's just some generic crap that could be anything, probably.
Woohoo! Wow. Look at those people. They are boating.
Fantastic.
And, come on, are they armed at least? No, we can't tell. They're over there in a swamp in a boat. Shut up. Don't come back to me when you have pictures of the character or something.
Exciting.
They also announced this. And to me, it's kind of the same category as you passed up how many characters to go to this. They announced a Plastic Man movie.
Yeah, I saw that. I agree with you to some extent because, again, Spectre needs to be done. Martian Manhunter needs to be done. Dr. Fate needs to be done. But Plastic Man definitely ties into their realization that, comic books should be fun. Comic book movies should be fun, hence Plastic Man. I have a feeling they'll make a train wreck out of it, so I don't really care. Never that big of a fan of the character because it was just too silly for comic books when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are much better things they could have done than Plastic Man. But again, it goes back to, because they're not going to do a dark, gritty Plastic Man. Although, actually, I kind of hope they would because that would just be enormously stupid and worth seeing just because how awful it would be.
Yeah.
But, there are many things they could have done instead. But, at least it's a realization. It's like, let's remove ourselves from the Zack Snyder yoke and realize that we can do some fun things. So there is that too.
Now, Marvel and DC are not the only comic groups in existence. Valiant, and I'm just going to touch on this briefly because we found something completely different to take the place of this story. Valiant comic Dr. Mirage is going to get a TV series produced by M. Night Shyamalan, allegedly, or Shyamalan, however you want to pronounce his name. He's going to be involved, or so I'm told. Fine, whatever. You know what this series sounds like? It sounds like the TV show Medium, only without Patricia Arquette. Yay, it'll have better acting. Moving on.
Are you besmirching the Arquette family's acting?
No, just Patricia, because if she to me is very much like
her brother, who also can't act.
I was thinking Kevin Costner.
Oh no, she's not nearly that good.
In that. Kevin Costner in every movie plays Kevin Costner.
Yeah, I agree.
Patricia Arquette in everything I've ever seen her in plays Patricia Arquette. And what is she in this one? Well, she's Patricia Arquette as this person. Oh, yeah. And anyway, we're dropping that. Moving on to something that sounds a lot better because you sent me this yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a trailer for a movie called Brightburn, and I thought I've never heard of this. And I'm going to let you describe this because I've got a completely different description for it than I'm sure what you've got.
I had not heard of this either until I just popped across this yesterday, a movie called Brightburn, which is a different take on the superhero origin story. And it's not that this kind of thing hasn't been done before, but not very often and frankly not very well. The thing that makes this interesting, a couple things make this interesting. So alien kid lands in an aircraft, childless couple adopts him, brings him up, shows him how to use his powers for good, etc. We heard this before. Exactly. Thank you for the themes.
I'm giving you background music. That's all I'm doing.
A couple fun things is the trailer note for note follows Man of Steel, which is great. And because it turns out that he's not a superhero.
No.
And you're not sure if he's going to be a super villain, but he's certainly not a superhero because he's doing some bad things towards the end of the trailer. And the other thing that makes this fun, other than the fact that it looks freaking awesome, is James Gunn is producing it.
Yay!
So James Gunn is back in the fold of the superhero venue, and this, from the trailer, this looks great. Like I said, I mean, it's not a parody, but it's just playing off that sequence which we've seen in so many, not just Superman, but I mean in so many stories, where you start off often with like the kid and growing into their superpowers, etc. Except this one doesn't go well, at least in the beginning, and no note of how things will end up at the end. But I mean, there's just some great imagery of going through the laundry hanging on the clothesline again, right out of Man of Steel. The fields. It's just so well done.
It is.
And it just looks like it's going to be great. So this is really exciting. And again, this is completely out of left field. Now, and what was your response to this?
When I looked at it, my first thought, and I'm not disparaging any of the words that I'm about to say. This is honestly what it looked like. Autistic Superboy goes bad in a horror movie.
Yeah, could be.
And that's how they portrayed him in this trailer. And I went, okay. And then we get to that last scene in the trailer, and you go, oh, okay, okay. Pick myself up off the floor, put the chair back.
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of a trailer, and I'm not big into horror movies, but I kind of like where this is going. So
yeah, it's a slow to a big hit at the end of the trailer, which probably happens in, I'm guessing, at least in the first half of the movie, if not just the first third.
It looks early on. It looks like an early on in the movie. I can't see that being the climax of the movie.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, this is definitely going to be at least like halfway through. But it's clearly going to be a big moment in the movie. It looks like, and your take on it. I mean, again, it goes back to the scene in Man of Steel where Clark is just overwhelmed because he can hear everything and hasn't learned to filter things out. So, again, a callback to that scene, which is smart, kind of hilarious at the same time. It is like, okay, well, let's turn this on its head. What happens if you don't filter things out, or maybe if you're just not a good person to begin with? So really looking forward to Brightburn when this hits.
Very much. 4 more stories to get through, and we're going to go through these very quickly. The Tales from the Crypt reboot is dead. Do you care?
That's pretty funny. It's dead. No, I don't care.
I don't care in the slightest. They announced a Tekken 7 video game, which now includes the character of Negan from The Walking Dead as a playable character. I never cared for The Walking Dead in the first place, and I stopped caring about Tekken around 2. I didn't know there was a 7.
I stopped caring after I played Tekken 3, which I really enjoyed, but never even played Tekken 4. So I don't care about Tekken. I think it's hilarious they put in Negan, because the character is great and I really like The Walking Dead, but I'm not sure. It's just as like, oh, let's ramp up some extra sales because people who love Walking Dead and Negan, they'll buy Tekken because of this. That's all it is. It doesn't fit at all. It's just a cash grab.
Not in the slightest. John Chu, the guy who brought us Crazy Rich Asians, thanks. He's going to be doing another rock star biopic because we've had Bohemian Rhapsody, we've got Rocket Man coming, and now we've got one about the iconic lead singer of the band Journey. Guess what? No, it's not Steve Perry. It's the other guy.
Are you serious?
Arnel Pineda.
You're not serious.
Who took over from Steve Perry because they found him on YouTube, and boy, can he sing Steve Perry. No.
You're serious.
I mean, I'm not a fan of Journey in the first place, not even the Journey video game, of which there was one.
I like Journey okay, but I would not go see a Journey biopic or a Steve Perry biopic. And I sure as hell would not see a biopic of the guy that I didn't even know existed. I mean, I assume there's some amazing backstory because, I don't know, he was a Navy SEAL or he's an alien.
He was an obscure homeless Filipino singer. Well, guess what? We've now covered the entire movie.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm not knocking the guy per se. I'm just saying.
Right. That's a success story, but that's a Lifetime movie at best.
Yeah.
No,
VH1 presents.
Yeah.
Something to end with. And we'll tie this in with let's say another show. Mowgli came out was it this week or last week? Recently, the new version of the Jungle Book, and a lot of people are very confused by this because it's receiving mixed reviews. Now, usually when you hear mixed reviews, that means one of two things. It's either absolute crap or 2 people didn't like it, and that's confusing the people who write stories. I looked at this earlier. Rotten Tomatoes has exactly 50% on Mowgli. And that's the whole reason I brought it up. It doesn't get any more mixed than that, does it?
It does not.
But that's our tie-in for the show on Friday. So come back because Todd's seen this. He's going to give you his review, and we'll unmix the whole Rotten Tomato mess with Mowgli.
Maybe.
In theory. Kinda. Sorta. Tune in Friday to find out. In the meantime, get out and go see a movie.
Captain, we're losing power in the warp engines. I think we should be leaving now.
I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
And on that unusually harmonious bombshell, it is time to end.
I am very disappointed!
Man, we have a weird job.
It's shameful, but, it's a living.
And like that, he's gone.
Hey, who turned out the lights?